Here's one. Got him. That was sweet, guys. Welcome to the ice. And we're playing with the new Mega Live 2 transducer. I'm actually just messing with my settings right now. I've had this transducer a couple days now, but I'm still just figuring out what I like, playing with some stuff, seeing what's what. Oh, the fish was hit the deucer there. But playing with contrast. And I've got a reel that just decided to go into back reel, but super cold conditions. Beautiful fish. Come here, buddy. That was awesome. There we go. There is lake trout, or what we like to call them burp sharks, as you heard them there burping up his air bladder. They can control it, which is super cool and makes lake trout a very unique fish, but not a big one by any means, but a fun fish, and it's always fun to watch them on this forward facing sonar, especially with our new Mega Live 2. And I'm just playing with some stuff, playing with some settings. I was playing with my contrast there, right? You know, some people like to run their screen what they call hot, which would be, you know, a lot of that kind of pixelation like you guys are seeing right now on the screen. You can see a little bit more of what's going on that way, right? You have to decipher a few more things and rule out some stuff. You don't get that real nice, comes another one. Come on. That real nice, crisp, clean picture. But you can see a little bit more of what's going on. Look at this guy. He likes it on the fall. But just playing with the settings, couple different color options. This is the one that I probably like the best so far. This one's called Doppler. This is one that has multicolor. So you guys are looking here, you can see there's some red, yellow, blues. And as I bump this contrast up, you can see I can get rid of that very easily. But also then we lose a little bit of what's all going on down there at the same time. So it's all preference, right? We can make this thing really nice, crisp, and clean if I bump that contrast up. And then on the other side of things, we can bump that contrast down, make our screen a little bit more hot, get a little bit of that grainy blue, right? That little lighter return mixed in there. So you can see a lot more of what's going on. It's all down to your personal preference. And what you want to look at, what you like to look at, what your eyes can handle, right? Everybody's eyes are different. But as far as colors, right, we've got our menu here on the right hand side of the screen you guys can see. And sonar colors, we'll go into this just to play with some other colors. One that's super popular, right, is the amber pattern. This is probably the most general or, you know, universal color you'll see people run. This is a lot of times what they come with straight from the factory. And then once we get into that color pattern, we can go into our settings here. We can clean that up, right? If we bump our contrast way up, we can get that to run a little bit hotter. If we turn that contrast down, we can play with our sensitivity, right? Crank that up, turn that down. Whatever we want to do, we can kind of play with. But I think I've been running it where it's really nice, crisp and clean, kind of like this, right? But I did like it when I had a little bit of return on the screen there, something like that. And then so there's a ton of different colors. This is the one I ran in the past with my Mega Live 1. It looks way different on here with all the clarity and how much better of a transducer this is. But there's just a ton. Here's Parrot. This is one that guys talk about a lot too. So this is kind of your amber, but it's got mixed in some blues and some yellows. But the different color patterns or palettes just kind of let you pick what you want to see. Generally, you know, that amber is super popular. A lot of guys like that, really hard contrast on the screen. I kind of personally like more of the multicolored screens where you may be into this, something like this, or the one that I was just using there was Doppler. Here we go. Come on. Got him. Oh, that was sweet. Doesn't feel that big, but that was a great bite. He came and stalked that thing all the way up. That was cool. Just a little guy. Not a big one by any means, but that was cool. He came screaming up to eat it. See you, dude. So one thing I did there, just playing around with this deucer some more, is I turned the persistence off. Persistence is a setting that I use a lot. You can see that guy swimming back down, but persistence is something I use a lot when I'm ice fishing. And basically it just has somewhat of a vapor trail of where your fish have been. If I turn it on quick here, he's outside our cone angle, but we'll be able to see it on our lure. So if I go into here, settings, persistence, turn it on, I generally just run it on low. And what that's going to do is leave those little purple, kind of a dust trail. Oh, there's another fish on me. Ooh, that's a big mark. Come on. He came off the side of the cone. We'll talk about that too, as far as like the placement in the transducer. Like I'm in down right now, but so persistence I just turned off. But like I say, it has that little purple smoke trail that you guys are seeing, and it just shows, you know, kind of the direction that things are moving. Shows where the bait's been. It shows the movement of the fish. So it's kind of cool for you guys to be able to see it. You get that really hard vapor trail when these trout come screaming across the screen and chasing the bait. But also with that, you do lose a little bit of your target separation, which is something I really want to show how much better this transducer is at that than the prior one. So I had the persistence turned off so that there was not any kind of smoke trail. It's really easy to do. You just obviously turn your persistence off, and now we no longer have that smoke trail, right? So just a little simple setting. It's something that you can really only use for ice fishing. If you were to do it in open water, your whole screen would always be moving due to the fact that your transducer is almost always moving as you're in the waves or wind or whatever it might be. But in an ice fishing setting, it's kind of cool to be able to see just the direction that things are moving, right? Oh, yes. That guy was not going to be denied. I don't think he's very big, but he came screaming up off the bottom. That was cool. You can really tell the target separation in that. One thing that, yeah, he's just a little guy. One thing I've noticed with this new transducer too is that no longer are the fish just a blob. You can actually see the head, you can see the tail, you can see the separation, especially when these trout are coming vertical like that. He's all wrapped up. Tail first, buddy. Okay, there he is. A little rip and wrap to the face. Again, not a big one, but they're all fun when they come up and just destroy it like that. I'll let him go quick. See you, dude. Thanks for stopping by. That was fun. The thing just came screaming up off the bottom. Was not going to be denied at all. Same rip and wrap. This is one we've been using in a couple other videos. And one thing I did, I was losing a lot of fish on it the other videos, but this morning I put 2 VMC hybrid trebles on the bottom. I just done my standard flip-flop front and back hook to have the bigger one on the back. But then I was still missing a lot of bites. They were just swiping at it super hard. So 2 VMC hybrid trebles on there, both replacement hooks, and now I'm getting a lot more of my bites connected and landing a lot more of them, which is very nice. Don't want to go through all that hard work and not get your fish to the hole. So that was cool. And then our rod setup here, this is my favorite lake trout jigging rod. This is a 45-inch Pro Graphite from Thorne Brothers. I talk about this rod a lot over the years. It's the same one I've been using for a long time. I love it. There's nothing I would change about it. It's really good for baits up to 1 ounce, which this bait here is 7/8 of an ounce. And then we do have the Pro Glass right here. This is another one from Thorne Brothers. I have this one built at 45 inches as well. And then this rod is great for anything that's over 1 ounce. So this here, Jig and Wrap Mag, I believe is 1 1/8 ounces. Really good for that. Bigger, heavier tube jigs if you're into any of that stuff, or if you want to get into maybe the small Bondy stuff, the Pro Glass is going to be the rod you're going to want to use for that stuff. But for me, love the Pro Graphite. It's super light, super fun to fight the fish on, ultra sensitive. Just a great stick, but having the 1-2 punch and the option is definitely nice as well. Ooh, look at this one screaming across from the deep side. Oh yes. Well, I switched it over to amber for you guys that like the amber. I don't think it's a big one, but just to show you guys the different color palettes, and I have the persistence still turned off so you can see the target separation, but we saw that guy coming from a long ways away. He started way over on the edge of the screen and made his way all the way across, came flying up and ate it. That was awesome. And I'm not sure, just hit menu here quick just to see where my settings are at. So sensitivity is at 20, I got contrast at 12. So contrast here, I was able to run a little bit. Oh no, I just lost him. I was able to run the contrast here a little bit, I would say higher, and still get a little bit of that more hot feel to the screen, just to be able to see a little bit more of what's going on. So I would say that might be one advantage to the amber. I could dial it down here for you so you guys can see here. So that's kind of more of our hot feed like we had on the Doppler, right? You got more of that little bit more return just below the bait there. That's at 2. And then, like I say, if you want to clean that up at all, you definitely can. Just turn your contrast up and you'll get rid of all that. All right, there we got contrast almost right there is all the way up at 20, right? You get a really nice clean picture. But if you want a little bit more of that information that's down there, I think I just had it on 12, I want to say. There was still a little bit of return or feedback off the screen, but it wasn't definitely overpowering and messing with your eye at all. Like I say, this is all personal preference and what looks best to you. So bunch of different color palettes. This is definitely one I still prefer, I think, the Doppler over this one, but I know a lot of people like amber, so I wanted to show you guys that here in action. And yeah, maybe we go find another color palette and see what we can do with that. We'll maybe pick one that's got something a little different. Maybe so we've done one with 3 colors. We did the amber, which was just 1 color. Let's see if we can find one that's just 2 colors. So this is one that was talked about a lot when I talked to some of the guys, was this parrot. In certain applications, the parrot was parrot and electric gill. So both of these ones were talked about quite a bit by some of the guys who've had some more time to play with this than I have. But I think for myself, if I had to pick one, I do like that parrot. That is nice. It's a really nice hard contrast, kind of that teal blue, and then amber as your second color. So this will be one that, see if we can get bit on, see if we can get a fish to chase on it, and go in here quick, play with our contrast, just see where we want to be. Drop this down once. Oh, that's nice. So you can even get that a little bit lower, but maintain more of that clean screen kind of feel. So there we're at 0. We haven't ran anything this low, and that kind of return you're getting, right? There's a little arch there. It's right where my bait is, right? So we're at 0 right now, and you can just start to see it. That's running a really hot screen right there. But we'll dial that down. Let's run, I think we can run this one at like 2, maybe even 0. Let's run it at 0 once, see how that looks, if we can get a trout to come in here. But that is nice. That does pop really, really well. That kind of that bluish turquoise over that little bit of an amber black backdrop.